Hey everyone, how are we doing today? I've got a match for you against EwokPadawan from the Smoke on Wi-Fi Battlefinder. Well, where else am I going to get them, apart from on my stream? And hey, it was an Ubers game. I like Ubers. Ubers is fun. Ubers is good. Ubers is nice. We like Ubers a great deal, and such is the case. We shall play some. Now today, using this team which I built with my buddy Rich Inert Fury on the YouTubes. You probably know him. He's kind of cool guy. And yeah, it has Arceus Water, which is an interesting thing. I like Arceus Water, and we'll see how it does in this game. But from the beginning, let's just start off and kick it off here in style with Scarf Reshiram in the lead position. And I'm essentially in a very nice place right here. I should be able to deal with the Genesect nicely. I don't think he really threatens me with any move, and I'm not quite sure if he is going to be scarfed himself, but it wouldn't be a great idea for him to stay in on Reshiram regardless, as he switches into T-Tar on the first turn. Now, he does have a Giratina Origin, so even though the T-Tar switch was kind of predictable, I didn't really want to go for the Focus Blast on the off chance that he did go to Giratina, because that also resists the fire attack, and I didn't want to just like not hit anything. I'd prefer to just get some solid damage in with a Blue Flare rather than just Focus Blast and not do anything. Also, Focus Blast could have missed on the switch, but hey, that's what it does. It's the nature of the beast, as it were. So, obviously, I'm locked in. Choice Scarf locked into Blue Flare. Doesn't do a whole lot to T-Tar, and I'm going to have to switch out. Allows him to pursuit me on the switch, but judging from how much damage that did, you can really tell he's not a physically offensive T-Tar. Definitely would have done a lot more if he'd been, obviously, you know, invested heavily there. But with the lefties and everything, he seems to be a more bulky build or set or spread, as it were, and so it's not too crippling to Reshiram. It can easily come in later and do stuff. So I go straight into Groudon to get rid of the sand, get my sun up in the sky, and throw some Stealth Rock onto the field. He brings in his Giratina O. Now, I was kind of questioning myself as to whether this would have a Will-O-Wisp, because I usually expect normal Giratina to have Will-O-Wisp, and I don't know, I haven't really fought many Giratina O, so I don't know whether a lot of them run it or not, so I decided to take the chance with it, roared him out, and it doesn't work out, because he does actually land the Willow on me, gets me burned, and practically makes Groudon a bit useless. I'm obviously going to have to keep it around for sun support, but apart from that, it's going to be useful for roaring things, so I do want to keep it kind of alive. So going to Giratina O, as he predicts that with his Ditto, transforms into me, goes for the Stone Edge but misses. Not that it would have done a great deal of damage because it's unstabbed, and this is a pretty bulky thing, this Giratina, so I wasn't really too afraid of it, just switching in there in general. I was either predicting the Earthquake or even him to try and Stealth Rock there, but he didn't, and it ends up me being able to go for a substitute as he brings in T-Tar. Now, not sure that he kind of expected this, but I'm actually carrying Earthquake on this Giratina O, which is definitely going to do a number on his T-Tar. It's not going to take it out, as you can see. Definitely a bulky set, as it can take the hit down into the high orange, as it were. But as you can tell, very weak T-Tar paired with very bulky Giratina equals Pursuit not being able to break a sub, and really does help me out quite a bit, because at this point I can easily 2-hit KO his Tyranitar with the Earthquake, but obviously because he wants to keep his sand around, he's not going to want to stay in, so he's going to switch out to go to his Fortress to hopefully take the Earthquake better. But knowing that he was going to switch in some sort of way to anything that he may want to go to take such a hit, I decide to Dragon Tail, and Dragon Tail does manage to hit, kills, doesn't kill, it does nothing to the Fortress, but it definitely does a nice amount of damage, and obviously breaks the Sturdy and whatever, even though I think Stealth Rock did that regardless, but moves him into his own Giratina Origin, which is very nice to go up against right now, because I am behind the sub and I have Stab Dragon Tail at my disposal. I don't think it'll kill it, just because opposing Giratina will be probably bulky as I am, but as you can see, it's going to do a huge amount of damage, bring him right down, and almost take him out. So good stuff, got him on the rocks there, and his Giratina will be able to be Revenge Killer pretty easily, especially with Stealth Rocks on the field as well. He's most likely going to die from a couple more entries into it. So and I guess if the sand's up, that helps me out too. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, Garchomp's probably going to go with the Outrage or the Dragon Claw or something. I didn't really think it was going to lock itself into Outrage at this point in the game, very early. But he goes for the substitute, and my fix-all solution was really to go into Groudon. I expected him to perhaps do that. If not, then he would lock himself into like Earthquake and be scarfed. But he is a substituting variant, which I do not have trouble with whatsoever, because as you can tell, I have Roar on this set, allowing me to phase him out and, you know, get rid of him from the field of play, no risk of Swords Dances or anything in my face. And unfortunately, I kind of get him to go into Giratina O, which I would have been okay with, apart from the fact that Sand isn't up anymore, so when he switches in, he's not going to die from being buffeted to it. He's just going to have a stealth rock damage take him really low. And for some reason, I'm not quite sure why, but I decide I'm going to let Groudon die, forgetting that he still has his Weather Inducer and T-Tar alive. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just do that. Sun's up for the rest of the game, but he still has T-Tar, so that kind of sucks, because now he's essentially won the Weather War, because I just let him kill my Groudon. But the good thing about this situation is obviously that he can't really touch me with his Giratina on Ho-Oh, and I'm running the Sub-Recover set with Dual Stab with his Ho-Oh, which is pretty damn potent if the sun is up. Unfortunately, as soon as I'm able to finish this Giratina off with the Sacred Fire, he's going to go into his T-Tar, and Sun will no longer be around for the rest of the game. But Ho-Oh's behind a sub, and I should be able to clean T-Tar out just with the Brave Bird, and a combination of that and Sacred Fire. Hopefully should be able to deal with the thing. So in comes T-Tar as expected, and as expected, of course, I'm going to be able to go for a Brave Bird, take it down to a little diddly nib. He's able to break my sub with a Rock Slide, and then a Sacred Fire will be able to finish him off. I decided to just speed that part forward because you knew what was going to happen. No real point in spending wasted time talking over it, is what I say. And so that's what happens. There you go. So in this situation, Ho's still at half health. Is still looking pretty good. I'm not too afraid of anything on his team. Perhaps the Ditto could be a pain because it could come in and Brave Bird potentially kill me. But he decides to go instead to Genesect, which I don't really understand because a T-Bolt's not going to be able to take me out. Maybe even if he gets a special attack boost, I wasn't sure, but he did get the attack boost, so it definitely wasn't going to take me out there, and he's basically forced to U-turn because he can't do anything to me. He's going to be destroyed by Sacred Fire, and well, it's not a good situation overall. So he's going to U-turn, go out into the Ho-Oh, the Ditto, which becomes the Ho-Oh, and unfortunately I actually end up missing the Sacred Fire as he switches in. Not that it was a huge deal, but having extra damage is always nice, you know. I would have liked to have that, but you can't win them all. Going to switch out, get the Regenerator to get my health back a bit more, and go into the Fortress to take the predicted Brave Bird. Now, I don't think I can take it that well, but I know that I'll be able to live at least 2, just about, and I do with just over half, and I'm thinking, okay, I can go for some spikes as he's basically either going to go for the Brave Bird again and wear his HP down, or going to switch into something else to appropriately combat the Fortress, because he is a Ditto. He's probably scarfed. If he isn't scarfed, then I don't know what the hell he's doing with his life, but he does switch out, and as appropriately goes into Garchomp. Now the annoying thing about this is I know the Garchomp has Substitute, and this Fortress is actually running Toxic instead of Earthquake, which kind of is a little bit of a problem because I don't want to Toxic because he subs, because then it gives him the opportunity to Swords Dance. So instead, I'm going to go straight into my Arceus Water, which is really bulky, max HP obviously, and should be able to take a hit even at +2. And I've seen Dragon Claw, so most likely with the Swords Dance Substitute and Dragon Claw, he's going to have Earthquake, and that's what he does have. So thankfully, I'm going to be able to live it, and I should be able to just go for the Ice Beam, clean him out, and it'll be happy days. No, ladies and gentlemen, because the motherfucker that is Garchomp, there is a reason it was banned from OU, and Sandvale, my god, is the reason, because holy shit, there are opportune moments when you need to kill Garchomp, and then Ice Beams miss, and it fucking sucks. I will tell you that much for free. I missed the Ice Beam, he's able to kill my Arceus Water, and now I still have to worry about the Garchomp, which should have been dead. But hey, that's what happens. At least I do have a way to deal with it, which is of course my Scarf Reshiram, able to go into that thing and go for the Scarf Dragon Pulse. Unfortunately, Fortress comes in, which is able to sponge it pretty well, and looking at the damage after Lefty's gain, I am not quite sure as to whether I'll be able to eliminate him with a second one, and just to stay on the safe side, because I do need Reshiram to finish this game off, I'm going to switch it out and go into something more appropriate like Ho-Oh, which can hopefully set up a substitute on this Fortress. Unfortunately for me, he's a bit more long-sighted than that, knowing that Ho-Oh would be a threat if he let it come in and set up on Fortress. He Volt Switches out, and is able to go into the Pokemon of his choice to deal with me aptly, and it just so happens to be a Ditto, which can now transform into my own self, become the Ho-Oh it was always meant to be, and Brave Bird everything in sight. Now, the good thing about this is that I have enough HP to the point at which I'm pretty sure I'll be able to live a Brave Bird from him, and then after that, because his health will be worn down, I should be able to take him out with one of mine, and we'll see how that goes. And it does a lot of damage to the Brave Bird, but just as predicted, I live on 48. Ho-Oh, absolute monster, is able to deal with his doppelganger aptly, go for one Brave Bird, not only not die from the recoil, but thanks to a little bit of HP left, I'm able to live the sandstorm damage, and thanks to lefties, bring myself all the way back up to 28 HP, as you can see right there. So at this point, it looks like he only has Genesect, Garchomp, and Fortress left. Fortress is very low. Genesect is a decent amount, but after a couple more switch-ins, thanks to the Spikes and Stealth Rock, it should be at a low amount to where Reshiram, with its fix-all solution of Dragon Pulsing everything in sight, will be able to clean up, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for the end game. But at this point, I'm thinking Ho-Oh could still be useful, potentially, especially if that Fortress wants to persist and stay alive. So I'm going to switch it out, get the Regenerator boost to get my health back up, and Fortress is easily able to take the Ice Beam from the Scarf Genesect as well. So, knowing that he's now going to go into his own Fortress to try and stop mine from doing anything, I double switch and I go straight back into Reshiram, because at this point, if I lock myself into Dragon Pulse, even if his Genesect switches in to try and take it, it's going to take Stealth Rock, it's going to take Spikes, and will probably die from the hit. So, I can lock myself in right now, hopefully kill the Fortress, and he just isn't safe to switch. Definitely not at this point, and I'm pretty sure that my Reshiram is actually going to be faster if I'm running Timid Scarf, and depends on what his Genesect's running actually. I think Reshiram's base 90 speed or 95. I think it's 90, so maybe Genesect Scarf would be faster than me, but in any case, I don't want to stay in on it because I am locked into Dragon Pulse, and even at that range, I still don't know whether I can kill it or not. So I'm going to switch out, go into my Giratina O, which should be able to deal with this thing, and he's actually going to lock himself into the Flamethrower, which I guess is kind of weird. I wouldn't really have expected him to do that, especially against a Reshiram, but turns out that at this point I am basically free to deal with everything. I go for the Dragon Tail just on the off chance he switches out to Garchomp, but he ends up doing so. Dragon Tail is able to clean Garchomp out, and once Genesect switches back in, my Giratina O has the Shadow Sneak. It's going to be at a low enough range where Shadow Sneak is actually going to chip away that HP and finish the Pokemon off, which is pretty fantastic. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Going to be able to end the game with a priority move as such, and we are done here. So that was it was an Ubers game. It was decent length, I guess, pretty decent length, and hey, I had fun with it. I hope you guys did too. If you did have fun, please, Harrow, be feeling free to leave a like down on below the video. You can click a button which will help me and stuff and things. It would be nice if you could do that. If you did, I'd be happy. Otherwise, check out all the stuff on the screen right now, previous video, all that good things, LPs going on the channel, all that stuff, and I will probably see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.